Hello, my name is Susan, and this is my first video in my new series. Well, thank you everybody for the wonderful standing ovation, and thank you for coming out to watch. My goal in making this new video series is to help Jehovah's Witnesses and to help those who have family members within the organization or those who have left. In fact, I'd really like to help anybody who's been involved in a high controlling organization. Maybe you were a Mormon, or maybe you were part of the Church of Scientology, or maybe you were part of another organization that was very high controlling. Basically, I want to help everybody. But why? Why now? Why am I doing this now? Well, it's a good question. I've certainly hummed and hawed about it, and I've thought about doing it for a long time. I guess I'm just at a point now where I don't feel I can look away and not say something and not feel that the organization has damaged a massive amount of people. And I feel compelled to say something. Oddly enough, when I was in the organization, I was happy. I'm not going to lie. But I'd see things that seemed kind of weird, like I'd see some people who committed suicide within the organization. There seemed to be a lot of people that were on antidepressants. And I remember thinking, it's kind of weird, I mean, you're always told that this is the happiest organization, it's the best way of life. And it just seemed kind of weird that so many people were, taking depressants and have to be medicated. So anyways, I tried to put those thoughts out of my mind because I didn't want to be, nitpicking, and I didn't want to be negative. And I just sort of went along with the old, right or wrong, just go along. So I just kind of put it aside. But when I discovered that there's a huge amount of pedophiles that have not been dealt with within the organization, like tens of thousands of children have been molested by Jehovah's Witnesses, and none of these pedophiles are being reported to the authorities. So then these pedophiles are enabled to molest more kids. Now, I know this has happened in other organizations. I'm sure you've all heard about the big Catholic Church debacle regarding pedophiles. What angered me the most about that wasn't so much that there were pedophiles in the organization. I mean, we all know that they can infiltrate organizations. It's the way it was covered up, the way it was handled, the way they pretended like there wasn't a problem because they're so concerned about their image. And, who cares about the victims? Just move the priest on to another parish where he's going to continue to molest. And now it's going to be somebody else's problem. And that's exactly what's happening in the Jehovah's Witness organization as well. And this is why I feel compelled to speak out about this now.
Then I watched the Royal High Commission in Australia this past summer and was horrified at what had been going on down there. The Royal Commission was organized to investigate how organizations fail to protect children from pedophiles. The judge actually said, "I don't know of any other religious organization which has the processes with the flaws that we have identified in the Jehovah's Witnesses." This was said after they had already investigated 28 other organizations, including the Catholic Church, the Anglican Church, the Boy Scouts, and others.
If you're having doubts that this is true, or wondering if maybe it's just a big fabrication and a big lie made up by apostates and former members, it's completely understandable, because Stephen Lett, who's a governing body member, had been on a JW broadcasting show some months ago, and he actually said that it's all fabrication and all a bunch of lies. Here, check out his clip here.
Another way we can contribute to the oneness, rejecting false stories that are designed to separate us from Jehovah's organization. As an example, think about the apostate-driven lies and dishonesties that Jehovah's organization is permissive toward pedophiles. I mean, that is ridiculous, isn't it? If anybody takes action against someone who would threaten our young ones and takes action to protect our young ones, it's Jehovah's organization. We reject outright such lies.
Wow. Wow, that was surprising. And yet, I guess I really shouldn't be that surprised that he lied like that on his show. because this is what these organizations do. They'd rather lie about the problem, keep their heads buried in the sand, pretend it's not really happening, blame the victims, than to actually deal with the problem that they have to face. But this lie didn't stay uncovered for very long, because just a few months after this broadcast show, another governing body member, Jeffrey Jackson, was forced to testify at the same Royal Commission that I mentioned earlier. And he was asked that exact same question. Are these comments about pedophiles and all these claims that there's a problem within the organization, are they true, or are they simply apostate lies? And his answer was that no, they are true. And in fact, the organization does have a problem. So it seems like Stephen Lett was lying when he gave his first statement. And here's a clip showing part of the testimony that Jeffrey Jackson gave in August of this past year.
But do you accept that the Jehovah's Witness organization has a problem with child abuse amongst its members?
I accept that child abuse is a problem right throughout the community, and it's something that we've had to deal with as well.
And do you accept that it's presented, I withdraw that, do you accept that the manner in which your organization has dealt with allegations of child sexual abuse has also presented problems?
There have been changes in policies over the last 20 or 30 years where we've tried to address some of those problem areas, and by the fact that we've changed the policy would indicate that the original policies weren't perfect.
And you accept, of course, that your organization, including people in positions of responsibility like elders, are not immune from the problem of child sexual abuse?
That appears to be the case.
And would you disagree then with anyone who said that the efforts to highlight and deal with child sexual abuse in the Jehovah's Witness Church is engaging in apostate lies?
I guess that's a broad question, because sometimes those who make these accusations make many other accusations as well. But let me assure you, the person making the accusation is not the main thing. The main thing is there some basis to the accusation? And if there is some way that we can improve, the governing body is always interested in seeing how we can refine our policies.
And then there are the quotes from Erwin Zalkin, from the Zalkin law firm. He's defended many victims from both the Catholic Church and the Jehovah's Witness organization. Both organizations have already had to pay out millions of dollars to victims, with literally dozens of more cases pending. He said that the organization is more concerned with protecting its reputation than in protecting its children.
I realize that what I'm saying is probably very upsetting to you. I mean, it's a very upsetting topic. But the fact of the matter is that I'm not making this video so much to to embarrass the Jehovah's Witness organization, but more to plead with them to please change your destructive policies. I mean, they don't make it a practice of going to the authorities about pedophiles. So then who's calling on your doors? It's a scary question to ask yourself. And the other topic that I want to discuss with this video today has to do with their shunning policy. That's the other main reason why I'm making this video. I know they say on their website that they don't shun and they don't practice this, but the fact of the matter is that too is a lie. They do, and every day almost I encounter people or hear about people who are being shunned by their parents or by their kids or by friends. And it's a horrible thing to have to face. The thing is that there's really no easy way to leave this organization, at least not without having your entire family and all of your friends held as hostage against you. And if you want to just see an example of a lady who experienced this kind of shunning, you can see just how damaging it is. She was from another very high controlling group called the Exclusive Brethren. Check out her story.
But you've left the Brethren.
Yeah.
So how does that sit with your parents?
Well, they actually see that I am on a course to hell.
You're going to hell. They've told you that. And what does that do to you? Have you lost your parents?
Yeah. I can't speak to any of my family at all. I can't have any contact with them at all.
It's a high price to pay, but so is a life of brainwashing and control.
Knock your block off. Hey, hey! Now, what do you think you're doing? Who are you and where are you from?
They say that anyone outside the Brethren is wicked and evil. And that's what you think. You think that everyone outside is bad.
It's a strange and secretive world. The exclusive Brethren believe they are the chosen ones. But now one of their own, Karen Joyce, has chosen to escape and tell all about life inside the sect. But the cost of freedom was devastating. She's an outcast to her family.
They just keep telling me that I'm on a wicked and evil court.
If you could say something to your brothers and sisters, what would you say to them?
That it's not what they're being taught. It's not all bad outside like what you think.
That there's a better world?
Yeah, definitely.
This girl is so brave to speak out. It brought tears to my eyes to watch her story.
She woke up, she saw that she was in a cult, and she realized that she needed to get out of it. But it meant sacrificing her entire family and all of her friends. And it meant venturing off into a world that she'd always been taught was a terrifying place to be. A world that's ruled by a devil and that everybody in this world is horrible. You can imagine how hard it is for her. But I have so much respect for people like her because there is so much at stake and so much to be lost.
Right now we have actress Leah Remini speaking out against the Church of Scientology. And she's facing a backlash of hateful comments from the church, as well as from former members of Scientology. This is what happens when you leave these groups. The Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, have fought all the way to the Supreme Court for their right to call on your door. And they speak out against every other religion under the sun. But the second you speak out against theirs, they label you an apostate, you become their enemy, and the shunning begins. Kirstie Alley, actress and current Scientologist, agreed with that type of crazy logic, and she even called Leah Remini a bigot. The church put out a statement calling Leah bitter and saying that she needs to move on with her life instead of pathetically exploiting her former religion. There have been other celebrities who have also left this cult, but they were advised to do it quietly to avoid this nasty backlash. Going away quietly, though, is exactly what these organizations want. They're like a bully who doesn't get caught and are then able to freely victimize others. I believe that Leah Remini is very brave for speaking out against a billion-dollar and very litigious Scientology organization.
When you speak out, you not only risk losing your family and your friends, your good reputation, sometimes even your job, but those whom you once respected not only shun you, but they start slandering you, and they tell everyone that you're now in cahoots with the devil, and they avoid you like the plague. Although they want you to feel alone, desperate, and broken, you're not. There are so many other people that have been through the exact same experience that you're going through right now, and they're available to help you. And plus, despite all the things you may have lost, you've got your freedom, and that's worth almost any price in the world. I'm speaking out because I'm tired of being bullied by these organizations, and I'm really tired of watching them bully others as well. And how do you stop a bully? You speak out against them. You expose them for who they really are. And you show people that they don't need to stay stuck in these organizations anymore, who are profiting off of them.
So then, who really are the bitter ones? The organizations and members of them who lash out with all kinds of lies and nastiness? Or their victims who try to speak out against the injustices?
I, for one, am not about being bitter. I'm free of it all now, and I want to help others gain their freedom and expose their bullies. And really, that's what this video was all about, was to help others. So stay tuned for future videos because I've got lots more to say, and stay tuned for future exposés. So if you like this video, you can like it down below, and if you have any comments, please, hey, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear from you. So ciao for now.